Today, we're going to be looking at the Anvil Super Hornet, a air superiority combat fighter built by Anvil Aerospace. And we're going to start a little differently today. We're actually going to start from takeoff in the ground in Lorville because, well, that's where I spawned in this morning, and I don't have a lot of time. So here we go. Start with just a little takeoff out of these, well, in my opinion, goofy hangars. One thing to be said for the Super Hornet, it has a very iconic look. It's a good looking ship, it's a good looking fighter, and it performs like you would expect, like a fighter. So we'll be going over it for the most part. It's a two-seater, so you can have this kind of ball turret being fired by whoever is your second seat, or you can have that turret slaved to the primary pilot and have the second seat as either a bounty that you've picked up and you're taking back, or you can have it as, you know, just someone, a friend hanging along or managing your systems or doing scanning for you. Let's return to the inside here. So roll, stick left and right, yaw, is rudder pedals and stick, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but okay. Rudder pedals and stick for yaw. So that is very similar to the controls you would expect on any kind of craft. And again, pitch is pulling back or pushing forward on the stick. Control responsiveness, we're going to get a little bit higher here because Lorville has these nice little no-fly zones, and I don't feel like being crashed into the ground by Lorville. Should be high enough here. Do a quick pitch change. Pretty nimble. Yaw, again, it's got aerodynamics, so it flies much like an aircraft. Let's check the yaw. Good yaw as well. Acceleration and deceleration. Very good deceleration. Pretty good acceleration. Top speed, we'll check that out. So basically what we're seeing so far is it's handling like you would expect a fighter. The controls are very similar. The interior here, you've got your MFDs. They're touchscreen MFDs, no holographics. You got your holographic HUD up here. Some more MFDs and status displays. When you're centered in your view, everything is in view for the most part. You have to glance down a little bit if you need to adjust weapons or power like that, or signal and go to stealth mode, etc. Again, that's to be expected. It's not bad. You got your eject handle over here. Unlock the exterior. Enter the remote turret, which we're not going to be doing because we're flying the ship. So in theory, actually I've never tried this. Let's try it. So you can shoot behind you from the pilot seat to a certain extent, but of course then who's flying the aircraft? Oh, now this is dangerous. Okay, whew. I was worried I'd exit it and my pilot would exit the seat mid-flight, which would be entertaining. Pilot ship review of a ship that flies away from me. Alright, so we're in atmosphere, looking at about a peak of 379 at this altitude, so we're going to have to head up higher into space. And again, the exterior, it's a nice view. You know, you've got wings, just like you would on the Arrow. Actually, the wings are very similar to those on the Arrow. These little mini wings, which I'm not sure what those are for, and this tail with the kind of horizontal. Again, it's a spaceship. I'm making allowance for really cool. To be honest, the Super Hornet is full of shield holes, so as a combat ship, she's sadly very lacking right now. Quite frequently, you're going to have your guns shot off, your wings shot off, and be down to just, you know, the center fuselage. That is the downside until they fix all the shield holes on it. But it's still, it's a good ship. I have the Heartseeker, it's one of my main ships. You can leverage a very large amount of firepower, and fully gimbaled firepower, mind you, at least in the stock loadout. I tend to run it with all fixed weapons, so 3 size 3s, 1 size 4. Here we are at the peak SCM speed of 1227 as we're exiting atmosphere. So pretty quick. I think it's still slightly slower than the Anvil Carrack, and it is not the fastest fighter. Basically, when you're looking at the Super Hornet, it's not the most maneuverable, it's not the fastest. It's kind of the middle on everything, but where it's supposed to make up for is what's not currently in game right now. And what that is it's supposed to have very heavy armor and be a good brawler. So this is a ship that you should be able to, pretty much keep on top of your targets, so enough maneuverability to keep them on target. And if they choose to stick around and fight, you should come out on top. Again, assuming equal pilot skills. So this against a Saber, close range dogfighting, this should beat the Saber. Currently the Saber wins, because shield holes and just the way the meta is working and the lack of armor. So we're not quite out of atmosphere yet, so I'm going to see if I can find a point to jump to real quick in space. Something close, preferably. That'll work. Hello, Everest Harbor. And again, range-wise, you're not going to have the same jump range on this ship as you would with something else. It's a light fighter. Excuse me, this is actually a medium fighter, but it's still a fighter until you move into the, the Warden range. You're dealing with short-range craft. All right, we're out of atmosphere. I do not know why my vertical horizon is still showing up there as if we were not. So we're going to use for a point of reference the. So we'll use the station. So we'll treat this as 0 in space. We'll let our flight path indicator 0 out at SCM speed. Pretty much the same in and out of atmosphere as we would expect. Roll rate. It's pretty slow. It's basically the same roll rate as a freelancer. But it's good pitch and yaw. So again, it's another ship where you're gonna pitch and roll to get on target. It's gonna be your best bet. But definitely leverage your power, and this feels like a fighter. It feels like it should. I enjoy it. It's a good ship. Not much to review on it because it's a very base and standard ship. What I will say is that at least in the interior, the layout makes sense, the controls make sense, the ejection handle between the legs, it's laid out like you'd expect a fighter, and it works. And once they fix the shield holes, I expect this to be one of the premier fighters in the game. Of course, we're going to have the new F-8C and these other newer fighters come in. But for now, she does the job. Thanks for joining, everyone.